Thanks for tuning in to Jam Happy Hour, benefiting Sweet Relief Musicians Fund. I'm Michelle, the M in Jam Sellers, that with my husband John, we started a decade ago. Live music has always been part of our DNA, and it feels great to host you with our easy-to-love wines while also helping musicians in need. Sweet Relief is a non-profit fund that provides financial assistance for career musicians and industry workers who are struggling to make ends meet. Over the past year, we've surpassed our goal of raising $25,000 for the fund. And with your help, over the next 12 months, Jam Sellers is committed to raising another $25,000 for Sweet Relief. Simply listen in, comment, share, or like, and Jam Sellers will donate $1 up to $2,500 per show if you do. Plus, you can click or text to donate directly to Sweet Relief. So pour yourself a glass of butter Chardonnay and get ready to enjoy some new music. Cheers.
Cheers indeed. Welcome into the Jam Happy Hour benefiting Sweet Relief Musicians Fund. My name is Jana. I am super thrilled to be joined tonight by Mr. Levi Evans jumping in with us from the West Coast.
How are you doing?
So
hey.
Good. Thank you for being a part of this hour where we literally get to hang out and sip wine and listen to your music, get to know you a little bit better, and raise money for an amazing cause.
Amazing.
I think with the pandemic, like when everything happened and so much of, live music and touring and everything just kind of like came to that sudden halt. We didn't, the relief fund was around before that, but then, it really kind of got kicked into the fact that we do connect now through technology, and you can be in your home and I can be in my home and or in the tasting room, and we can do these performances and raise money for a cause that does benefit not just the musicians, but backline, front of the house, concessions, merch. It's such a beautiful thing to celebrate live music with. So thank you for being here.
Of course, it's a pleasure.
I know you grew up in and around live music. I think, if we were lucky enough to grow up in a house full of music, I think you were always, I know I was always a fan of like going to shows and going to, whether it was like the little neighborhood local thing, like the cover band at the neighborhood pool, or, all the way up to like my first show was like Madonna and the Beastie Boys. Kind of blew my mind a little bit. That live music vibe, once you get stung by that bee, there's no going back.
For sure.
And I know you're a big fan of live music. We'll get into that in just a little bit because I've got some notes kind of tucked away. But what I love about the Jam Happy Hour for Sweet Relief is your fans can come in and get to know you a little bit better, get to know us a little bit better. And our fans can get to know you a little bit better. So, Levi, if someone is just meeting you for the very first time, what's your vibe?
My vibe, singer-songwriter. I had a lot of influences. I started off, I first started making music when I was like 16, and it was just for fun, and I was with some friends, and we were really just doing, it was different. I was doing a lot more hip-hop beats and writing silly verses here and there, and then, when it was time to go to college, I was like, what am I going to do? So I was like, well, I'm having fun doing this, so like, why not just keep doing this? So I went to Miami, University of Miami in Florida, but I only lasted a semester. No, but it's okay. I was like, I was having too much fun. That was the problem. I was trying to do my homework. I was in the dorms, and I'd hear like
at the beach.
Anyway. But yeah, it was a good time. And then just I've just been doing writing since then and just pursuing it. Yeah.
So you were into like early, was that 90s hip hop?
Yeah, I was.
What was your bag? What were you into?
Man, I really liked obviously the classics, Nate Dogg and Snoop Dogg and all those guys, and some other guys like Drew Down, which is was who I had an obsession with for a while. He was like West Coast guy, kind of around the same time.
South Florida had a huge scene too, though.
Yeah.
I mean, with the whole like Two Live Crew and like all the stuff that was coming out of Florida at that time was just like,
yeah. No, that's what I grew up on. I had one friend because I moved here from Dublin when I was 14, and it took me a while to make friends. When I first moved out here, and I had one buddy, and we'd hang out all the time, and he just took over the aux. So like I didn't have any, and I was kind of I was all good. So he just played music, and we just kind of listened to whatever he had to, whatever he was playing. So I was under a rock for like 2 years, where I was just like hanging out with him and just listening to whatever was on his playlists.
Sure.
So that really influenced kind of when I first started making music, how, I was just doing it for fun. And then, kind of, matured a bit and started writing on playing instruments more.
So you just used a term that I think I just fell in love with, and if I heard it correctly, took over the aux,
Yeah.
as in the auxiliary chord.
Yeah.
To
He
play
was,
what? I like that.
yeah. For 2 years, he had it. It was crazy.
He just played whatever. You were no control whatsoever. You were getting a crash course in American 14-year-old music.
Yeah, I mean, I was with it though. I was like, I like the sound of this. Why? I don't know anything to play besides, he was strictly into that, and I wasn't gonna stop him from, listening to his tunes. So,
Do you remember like the first piece of music that you actually went out and physically purchased with your money?
No, but I can remember the first CD that I didn't buy with my money, but the Demon Days CD by Gorillaz, yeah. When that I was in France on a road trip, funnily enough, and we just we had CDs. I must have been, oh man, that came out in 2005, so I must have been like 5.
God,
and I just remember
hurts.
had that album.
I
had
still
the
like
CD
you.
on
It's
repeat.
fine.
But that I just had that CD on repeat, and I remember anyway.
So I literally just saw the Gorillaz in concert on Friday night, last
wow.
Friday, here in Orlando, and it's so crazy. They are still just so cutting edge. They're still just doing things that nobody else is doing. But I guess when you have that kind of an influence, that when they came on the scene, who's doing a cartoon band? That's crazy. And then they are, and they're still doing it, but now they're doing it live. And so I'm a huge fan of the Gorillaz. I can kind of understand that is that hip hop beat. That is something different. But at the same time, like what a transformative piece of music to just kind of like lock on to, because they had so many sounds going on in that. I don't even know what genre you would put them in.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, it varies for whatever track they were doing. So, and yeah.
Well, I hate to pigeonhole, but do you think of yourself in a certain genre? Or are you too also, or like, I'm pulling in all these influences from everywhere?
I feel like a lot of artists nowadays, because of just the industry and streaming and everything, and just everyone's taste is so broad. So I think with artists too, it's, that's kind of showing a lot more. So yeah, with me, I have tracks that still have hip hop beats, and then more just guitar, and then like just straight up rock tracks. So yeah, I'm still trying to figure it out, honestly. I don't know what
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Hey, honestly, I don't think we ever actually figure it all the way out. I think
I'm
it's
starting to
all a
learn
journey.
that more as I just turned 23 on Tuesday.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, thank you. And yeah, I don't think that was kind of a realization. I was like, yeah, it's all good. Don't have it figured out, but I don't think anyone does. So it's like, getting there.
Oh, trust me. Everything's a journey, that's for sure. As we are on this musical journey here tonight, I know we're going to jump in. We're going to play some songs, but I want to remind everybody we are also here for a great cause with Sweet Relief Musicians Fund. So how it works is for every like, every comment, every share, every thumbs up, every happy face, like no matter what you do in the comments, not you, we will donate $1 to the Sweet Relief Fund just for you enjoying the music here with Levi with us tonight. I would love to jump in on the first song. What would you like to play for us this evening?
So this is sort of the song that started everything. So I think it's only appropriate that we start off with it. It's called Back in My Head Again.
I love it. Absolutely. You guys please enjoy Levi Evans here in the Jam Happy Hour benefiting Sweet Relief. And make sure you comment along.
Oh. Back in my head again. I can't seem to move past it. Baggage ain't floating me, and I might sink. And in the dead of the night, trying not to think. It's always the same, it's always the same. My 2 feet treading the plane, tried to find me a name. Gotta cut off the rope and gotta break out the chain. We used to love it when it rained. We used to love it. Get back in my head again. Back in my head again. Back in my head again. I want it to fade, just fade into black. And before it pulls over, it's like I don't know you. Drenching my Costa, the Saturday roster, stuck in our petty ways, thinking of yesterday, locked by a tempest look. Go where the shadows lay, drink on the day shift, just the same old shit. Think it was aimless, but I can't control it. Back in my head again. Back in my head again. I can't seem to move past it. The baggage ain't floating me, and I might sink. And in the dead of the night, trying not to think. It's always the same, it's always the same. My 2 feet treading the plane, tried to find me a name. Gotta cut off the rope and gotta break out the chain. We used to love it when it rained. We used to love it. Back in my head again. 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 Back in my head. Back in my head again.
So that's the one that started it all, huh?
Yeah, that was my first release, and kind of, yeah, that started it all.
Well, I find it very interesting, that, here we are, God, most overused word ever, pandemic. So we're in this like whole new way of doing life in the last couple of years. And you decide this is a great time to start releasing music.
Yeah, I mean, it's again, like, yeah, it kind of, I was holding on a bunch of music, and I was releasing under a different name. Because when I first started making music, I actually it was a lot more hip hop, and I was going by Muttley. And then I had all this music, and then I kind of met my manager, and then we kind of were holding off, and then the pandemic hit, and we just kind of decided to start rolling things out,
We were all losing our minds a little bit at the time, I think. I think it's a solid time to try something new and see if it sticks. And then clearly it has. Here we are a couple years later, and you continue to put out music. What is kind of your process of, because of, your family history, you've seen the old way of how music was done. And it seems like it's very much changed now. So this whole, the marketing plan and the rollout and I think a lot of that, when done right, it's beautiful. But I think nowadays it's kind of like you as the artist you have a lot more control over what you put out. And how does that feel? Is that liberating? Is it frightening? Like, how does that, sit with you that you are in control of this ship?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I don't have anything to compare it to, but I definitely know, because I mean, the beautiful thing now is anyone, without any representation or any record label, you can get your music out there to everyone. I think that's a beautiful thing. I think it's kind of amazing in that way that, it's now it's anyone can do it. So,
now some people do it with a TikTok.
Yeah.
And then you're like, wait, what just happened here? And then, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. If it catches, it catches. That's great. But then there's also, artists that are putting in the time and putting in the songwriting and doing the production. And they are also in control of when they want to put their music out.
Yeah. And I think, this is an original line. So I forgot who told me this line, but he did put it very, very well. It's like, artists sometimes, including myself, will kind of complain maybe about social media and in that sort of way. But also it's like, back in the day, you're handing out CDs like, at your local high schools or something. Right. So it's like, it's a better, I think, it's like, it's a double-edged sword, it's like, it's hard to navigate and it's saturated, but also it's like kind of anyone can do it. So that's also kind of amazing.
it is a very double-edged sword when it comes to social media because you do have that instant access to not only people that are very much into you and into your music, and Levi and Evans with us here tonight in the Jam Happy Hour, but also people who don't know you and just kind of happen upon you, and maybe they're not into the same vibe, and it is a little weird. Like going back to a time when it was cassettes out of the trunk of the car, and that's how you got word of mouth. Now it's like you can post a video, and your Instagram is great. I mean, it's fun, it's colorful, it's eye catching. Like you're doing the thing, but it's like how much of that do you feel is like truly like where you're at? Are you trying to keep it like, if you're coming to my socials, then you're gonna get Levi, or
Yeah,
is it?
I keep it very, yeah. I mean, I'm myself, on my
Mhm.
socials, and doing my art and stuff. And, right before this, my manager was telling me like, he's trying to poke me to get on TikTok more, which I have to do. But
Aren't they
yeah,
all?
yeah, but, I think it doesn't hurt. So just, gets good exposure and everything. Um,
Yeah,
yeah. And I try to see it as like, you got to have fun with it. 'Cause if it's like a chore, then it's not gonna be fun. But even like, so I illustrate too, so I'll post like, I'll do time lapses of my drawings and stuff like that. So even though it can sometimes, I mean, I'm so stressed out with like just making songs that it's hard
sure.
to post something every day. So, but again, it's like just trying to keep it like a game and have fun with it.
Well, yeah, you have to think of it as an appendage, if
Yeah.
you will. Like it's just it's another way to enjoy what it is that you're doing and what you're putting out there, whether it's musically or creatively or art wise or stuff like that. So it's great. If you guys aren't following along with Levi, I know Emily just put the handles up. Definitely jump in, and if you are, throw us a thumbs up because that means we get to donate another dollar to the Sweet Relief Fund, and that's what it's all about here tonight. Just enjoying music with Levi, getting to know him a little bit better, his music, his art a little bit better, and raising money for a great fund. Again, I tell you, it's like the quickest hour in music, but we are quickly approaching the 20-minute mark, and we've got songs to get through. So, what would you like to perform for us next?
Okay, this one, I just released it. It's my newest release. It's called "Let Me Know,"
Okay.
and it's pretty much about the world ending.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
And thanks,
On a
Levi's in the
light
Jam
note.
Happy Hour here tonight. Dropping jokes. I love it.
Are we supposed to leave? Is that what you're telling me? Put your barrel to everything, then calling it settling. When money is obsolete, when nothing's under your feet, then will you talk to me? Then will you talk? Afflicted by your own game, act like you're not to blame. Tell us that seasons change. Tell us we're playing games where nothing will grow. When there's one place to go, then will you let me know? Then will you let me know? Tell us to pack up our bags like all of us could, stare to face God, the mother of good. When all of it's gone, all we understood. You said we were crazy, like we won't push daisies, no. Then will you let me know? Then will you let me know? Then will you let me know? Let me know, let me know. Are we supposed to leave? Are we supposed to leave? Are we supposed to leave?
About the end of the world.
About the end of the world.
What's the context in that, though?
It's about kind of, with what we're doing kind of to our planet. And like, are we supposed to leave and how we're running it dry? And like, is that what we expect to do? And, and I was thinking about people going to Mars and all that stuff. And just like, is that it? Like, instead of putting all
Gosh,
this
I
money
hope
into,
not.
yeah, I mean, we're putting a bunch of money into going other places. And it's like, what about like this one we got right now? I don't know.
It's pretty dope here.
Yeah, it's pretty
we
cool here. I mean,
here.
we got plants, and like animals and air.
Beaches.
So, beaches. There's no
trees.
Mars on beaches on Mars. I don't know.
I love that you're creating art around that. It's a very powerful message, and I think it's obviously something that unfortunately the younger generations are going to be left to deal with. So whatever we can do to bring light to the issue, I think that's great that you wrote that. So that's your most recent release.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Are there plans to release more?
Oh yeah, we're not stopping. It's gone. I mean, full steam ahead. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
What is kind of like musically, as far as songwriting, creating, producing, like what is kind of your method? Like, do you wake up with an idea in your head and you're like, oh, I think this could be something, and then it just kind of like grows layers over time? Or is it like something that you're literally just like, okay, I've got this idea, boom, I want to hammer it out?
It's so unpredictable. I mean, like the first song that I played, so
Back in my head again?
So I work with this producer, Power. Shout out to Power. He's great. And he had a beat that I wrote to, and then I wrote the guitar part after I wrote the song, and then it kind of turned into that. And then with Let Me Know What I just played, I mean, I just woke up one morning and grabbed a guitar and kind of played those chords and then wrote the song. So it really, it's an enigma, it's like, it's changing, forever changing. And I'm still trying to figure out the best method, but I don't think there is.
She's a fickle beast.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, but yeah, it's for it's changing, and there's no one way to do it.
Well, real quick, I just want to say thanks to Rita. She just donated $20 to the Sweet Relief Musicians Fund, so thank you for that, and thank you for joining us here in the Jam Happy Hour this evening. Now, you talked about waking up, having an idea, grabbing guitar. Have you always been like musically inclined when it comes to instruments?
I've always played instruments since I was a young age. Like I think I started playing guitar and piano when I was 5, but I never practiced. I mean, I also I lived in New York for a little while, and I was at it was like an after school program. I think it was for music, and I played trumpet and I played drums, both of which I can't play anymore. But yeah, I mean, I've always played a lot of instruments, but didn't start practicing until I went to college, because I went there and I was like, I'm pretty good at guitar, and then I like went to college and I saw kids who got in for being good at guitar, and I was like, whoa man, I suck. So like I had to catch up.
One of my really good friends is Mark Tremonti from Alter Bridge and Creed, and yeah, when you see somebody that has like a knowledge of guitar like he does, it's just like it's mind blowing. I've never had the ability to play an instrument, so I've always been very, very jealous. Do you think musically, in the sense of chords and how everything's going to lay out? And are you reading music, or are you just kind of listening to how a song is going to come into your head?
Yeah, it used to be all feel, but then I went to college and I learned a bit about theory, and then I started, I kind of learned the rules. And then I had a great piano teacher. His name was Oz, and he taught me all about jazz piano. And that really kind of that translated actually to guitar too, and just like how I make chords. Now I'm trying to unlearn everything, because I feel like because it can sometimes put me in a box. Like I'll be like doing something and I'm like, wait, I can't do that. Like that's against the rules,
The musical rules.
Yeah. So I'm trying to just instinct now, because sometimes like I catch myself, I'll like play a chord progression. I'm like, that doesn't make sense. And I'm like, wait, it doesn't have to make sense. It's just like a feeling,
What makes sense anymore?
Exactly. That's a good question.
I mean, especially in the creative process. And I mean, you're clearly a creative between music and songwriting and art. And I know illustration was, something that you're very attached to as well, which also I can't draw a stick figure. So you are an enigma to me, sir. I'm thrilled to get to know you a little bit better tonight here in the Jam Happy Hour. Again, benefiting Sweet Relief Musicians Fund. So if you guys are enjoying, or if you have a request, or if you have a question, or if there's anything popping around in your head, please comment it, because every time you do that, we get to donate $1 on the behalf of tonight's show with Levi Evans, which we're thoroughly enjoying, and it's going by way too fast. So let's jump in as we're about to hit that halfway mark on your third song of the evening. What are you going to play for us next?
This next one is called Lay Low. Yeah, I don't have much to say about it, so I'll just hop right in.
All right. Thank you so much.
Laying on the stone, trouble on the fairground. Doggy need a comb, but a bone all he care about. Scrolling on your phone, tell me where you are now. Settle for alone, getting home anyway, how? I said, baby, throwing back matches on the mattress, jumping over turnstiles, spinning by a halo. You can make me lay low. I said, baby, throwing back matches on the mattress, jumping over turnstiles, spinning by a halo. You can make me lay low. Keep it on the low. Quiet as the sound of falling snow. Settle for alone. Careless as the boys of rock and roll, living out a daydream. It's funny where it takes me, keeps us spinning upside down. Moments in a sleeping town. It's something in your way could drive me mad. I'm trying to see what's up beneath the plaid. I'm tipsy when no bottles have been had. Something in your way could drive me mad. Baby, throwing back matches on the mattress, jumping over turnstiles, spinning by a halo. You can make me lay low. I said, baby, throwing back matches on the mattress, jumping over turnstiles, you full acrobatic, spinning by a halo, spending on my payroll. You can make me lay low, 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 lay low.
That's a vibe.
Thank you.
That's a vibe. That makes me want to lay low. That makes me want to curl up. That makes me just want to be with my favorite people and just be totally chill.
And that's exactly what it's about, man.
Love that.
Yeah.
I think we need more of that in our lives. I'm definitely not going to press you for, where that moment was. But what I got in that song is, you talk about your early musical influences being, like hip hop, and, a handful of other things. But I mean, obviously you have some other influences because it's very singer-songwriter, it's very melodic, it's very like what did you grow up listening to outside of hip-hop?
So my earliest, so I had this iPod Shuffle. I had the iPod Shuffle that was the original. So it was like a USB drive.
Yeah.
It's crazy. My music vocabulary is shockingly terrible. Especially because with this drive, I just stuck it in the computer and I just I didn't even know who was singing a lot of the time. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
There was
it didn't have the
Strokes
screens.
there.
It didn't have
it didn't have anything. So
okay.
But the Strokes definitely big influence. Is This It? That album amazing album. Still amazing. Yeah.
If you're not
seriously.
familiar with it, please go look it up and all of your favorite streamings because yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah, and then who else? I'm trying to think who else. I mean, like, yeah, Cage the Elephant as well. If we're thinking about like kind of more like the rocky stuff. Again,
They're
Gorillaz.
so great live.
Yeah, I haven't seen them live. I want to though. Yeah. Definitely.
You have to make that happen.
Yeah.
We have to make that happen. I think your mind will be slightly blown. It's a great energy. Again, also like a la the Strokes and kind of that just like that big electric front man, the amazing, musicianship behind it. It's a full on show. And speaking of which shows, how are you thinking about, your live shows and when you're going to be out there doing the thing?
So yeah, I've done a few shows now under my belt. I think around like 4 this year, where I had like a full band. I was doing some acoustic stuff. Yeah, I mean, dude, it's cool.
Vibe.
It's a whole different vibe. I mean, I did some shows when I was like 16 and 17, just like rapping with a backing track, with my friends. So we kind of had like a little group that we used to, do parties and stuff. But yeah, the band playing with full band is a totally different vibe. I love it. I really do love it. But yeah, I'm playing with like the click and everything and standing. But yeah, it's good. It's a good time.
How are the butterflies when you hit the stage? Are they the good butterflies or are they the crazy butterflies?
They're pretty good. Something switches off. I can't believe going back to it's like now that I have a guitar too, and I'm doing 2 things. It was already hard enough doing 1 thing on stage, but now like 2 things on stage, it's like what? So
it's like doing this, right? It's like, like all the things.
But something switches off. So like it's like sometimes I'm like looking up at the stage, especially if there's like someone before me, and I'm like, do I really want to do this? I have bad anxiety, so like I'm like, do I really want to do this? And then I get off stage and I'm like, yeah, I want to do this. You know what I mean?
I can completely relate. I have horrific anxiety as well, which is really odd, judging what I do. But it's like, yeah, when you get on stage or when you get done and you're just like, you have that amazing cathartic feeling of I did that and I rocked that and this is what I love to do. Like that brings you back. It makes you want to keep doing it, keep performing, keep writing songs. And like you said, you have plans for a lot coming up in the new year. What is 23 bringing to Levi Evans?
Definitely, we're gonna start...
year. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
the birth year.
My birth year,
and 23. I just figured that out. Sorry.
It's feeling good. It's feeling good. I think we're really focusing on shows and really because we the back end of this year we are tightening up everything. Sure. So I think we're gonna go straight on into shows, more shows. Hopefully, I hope like a little tour so I can travel around because I think on the road would be really fun. And then just more tunes. Can't stop. Consistency.
What are you kind of clocking at when it comes to like songs? Are you, have you got like the box full or you're like, I know with some artists, it's like they write a new one and then like they kick an old one out.
Yeah, I have friends who make music. I have a lot of friends. I'm actually part of a music collective called No Fun. And some of my guys, they have like, I've talked to them about it, and it's like, over 100 songs. Like I'm not like that. Like
that gives me anxiety.
Yeah. I think right now I have like a few that are like, for that I'm ready to release or not even ready to release, but like considering releasing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not the one with a big, war chest of songs. I got like a
just keep going back in and just digging out another one and throw it up and see if it hits.
Yeah. But I'm good under pressure, and I pull it out. I pull something out eventually. When the deadline comes. So, yeah.
I think it's very interesting how touring can absolutely affect the creative process because you're kind of forced into a different environment. You're not in your comfort zone. You're kind of on the fly. You're dealing with things literally as they come at you, and sometimes that's beautiful, amazing, creative moments, and sometimes it's very stressful and. I find it really kind of comforting that you're just like, I'm just so ready to do it. I'm ready to get out there. I'm ready to just go and live this, this life. Yeah. Do you think that's going to affect your ability to continue to create music though?
I have no idea. And, I might seem like I'm ready for it, but who knows? When I'm out there, I might be like, calling my mom like, yeah, come
Mom.
pick me up, like. So
need
we'll
soup.
see. We'll just have to see how it is. But yeah, I mean, I've heard from a lot of people that, yeah, once you're on the road, it's hard to focus on being totally creative,
Hmm.
especially, if you're like playing 2 shows here and then you gotta like pack up everything and you're on a bus and then you gotta play another show. It's like, it could definitely, I could see it being very hard to have to find time to write.
It seems chaotic.
Yeah. Yeah. But out of the, again, like you said, out of the chaos, something beautiful might happen. And so we'll
Totally.
just have to wait and figure it out and see how I handle it.
Oh, I love that. Well, that's exciting. Something to look forward to in 2023 in your 23rd year, which I, again, think that's pretty awesome that we just figured that out. We're going to jump in on another song here in a second, but I wanted to remind everybody that we are here to raise funds for the Sweet Relief Musicians Fund, which is a really great fund that goes to help front of the house, back of the house, people that work in all kinds of different parts of the live music industry. And it's a beautiful thing. If you're not familiar with it, I invite you to dig into it and get to know it a little bit better, especially if you're a fan of live music, whether it be here in the Jam Happy Hour at your favorite local venue. Please do support it because live music is just so good for the soul on so many levels. And having said that, Levi, let's jump in on our fourth song this evening. What would you like to play for us next?
This next one is called Catch Me.
I love it. Levi Evans in the Jam Happy Hour for Sweet Relief. Enjoy.
We used to kick it in the back streets, laying that same old casting. Would run outside for the ash and slip back in without asking. We never really learned then anything it goes when baby had me boxed in and 2 a.m. was closing. We used to run to the 6th floor, young and always wanted more. Passion had us crashing down like trying to stand without the floor. Never seemed to sit still, cashing out on cheap thrills. Nothing ever felt real. Catch me slipping on the 5, hold me like a holster, sipping on the ride. I just want you closer, want it all the time. We can ride when we roast, tell you everything is fine, tells me everything is catch me when you're feeling low. And you can always ask me what you wanna know, leave it for what's lasting, you can call your own. On the ride to the coast, tell you everything is fine, tells me everything is fine. Betting on the time but let you know, run as if the wheels were to go. It's funny how we couldn't care to grow. Outside feeling some way, bubbly from the last call, gripping a sway. Lovely how our eyes lock, drift talk, stepping off that sidewalk. Caught a piece cause a mind block, devil time on a wristwatch. Feeling so irrelevant, I lack the sense of any grain, altering our confidence. We never learned to deal with strain. Metaphors between the line and the sleep. Summertime, you pulled me out, another kind. Felt relevance once never had. Catch me slipping on the 5, hold me like a holster. I just want you closer, want it all the time. We can ride when we roast, tell you everything is fine, tells me everything is catch me when you're feeling low. And you can always ask me what you wanna know, leave it for what's lasting, you can call your own. On the ride to the coast, tell you everything is fine, tells me everything is fine. Everything is fine. Everything is fine. Oh, 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 oh.
It must be such a great feeling to kind of like revisit something that you wrote a while ago. I mean, obviously that song's been out, over a year now, and a lot has changed in the last year. What does it feel like to kind of jump back into that headspace for Catch Me when so much has changed since you wrote it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's definitely marks a time in my life, and I think I can reminisce on that time.
Hmm.
Yeah, and it's it still relates to me, a lot, and still feels like me, and yeah, I think I mean, yeah, I like it. I like the song. It's a good song.
It's
In my
interesting how
opinion.
you kind of mentioned like a snapshot in time, which,
Yeah.
for a song is and it isn't. It's like for you as the songwriter, as the artist, it is a snapshot in time. And whether it's an a la Taylor Swift, where it's a very autobiographical thing, if it is or if it isn't, like a lot of people write from a very real place, and then other people write from a very existential place. But in that moment, that is where your mind is at when you create this song, and then boom, it's out into the world, and you release it, and you give it up for everybody else to interpret it differently.
Yeah. Yeah.
What does that feel like when you're like, there could be people hearing this that are having a completely different reaction than what you originally meant?
I mean, I guess, I think again, like, not to keep saying, a lot of beautiful things, but it is kind of a beautiful thing. And, I think the goal in music is, at least for me, is being able for people to relate to it, and kind of, when they relate to it, they can, relate it to their life.
Sure.
And it's bigger than me. So I really like it when people, have their own interpretations of things. And yeah, that's like kind of my favorite lyrics are ones where, I'm like, what is he talking about? And I'm like, it's cool. You know what I mean? I could kind of make up my own story with it. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm a lyric nerd. Like
Yeah.
I love catching on to like certain words and phrases like we did earlier when you're like in control of the aux. I'm like, I've never heard it really put that way before. And I love it when like, song lyrics kind of pop up. And for me, I don't know if it's because that's how I listen to music, but I've discussed it a few times in the happy hour before. There was this big study done that women hear lyrics before they hear melodies, and it's opposite for men. Sometimes they hear the melodies before they hear the lyrics. So I'm into the story. I love
Yeah.
the story of a song, and whether it's your story or my story, there's a story to be had there, because you are so visually creative as well with your illustrations, which I want to jump into in just a little bit. Do you picture your songs or do you hear your songs?
I guess when I'm making the songs, it's very subconscious. I kind of, at least the ones that most of the ones that I end up actually releasing are just kind of happen in the moment. And it's like, kind of look down at your phone or the lyrics, the notes. And I'm like, whoa, I just wrote that. And like, a funny one, like, one of the lines in the chorus is catch me slipping on the 5. And when I wrote that, I didn't really think about it, but when I was shooting the Back of My Head Again music video, my tire popped in the old car I was in, if you've seen that, on the 5. So I literally was fishtailing on the 5. And my manager pointed out after the fact.
LA
It was like,
highway.
Yeah.
For people that don't know.
Oh, yeah. For people that know. Sorry. Yeah. It was a highway. My tire popped on the highway, and I was
Oh, God, that's
literally
terrifying.
slipping on the 5, But I didn't even think about that. And I was kind of more like slipping, just driving. But then I was like, oh, like, that's, but yeah, so.
You're gonna give me drive anxiety now.
Yeah, it was an old car, very old car, and I drove it way too much. I drove it all the way around the city. Like, it should not. It's supposed to be in the neighborhood, and I drove it to the other side of LA.
You
and
own
back.
your part in that then.
Yeah, no, it was. Yeah.
But when you
My fault.
recalled that lyric, obviously you're picturing that moment, or you didn't. You're saying, like, you just went with the lyric.
Yeah, and like now, I guess like now that I'm sort of doing my own music videos now, like I'm coming up with the concepts. So, and that's when I really picture like what I want to visually, what the music wants to be, and so it's kind of a secondary thing, because I definitely, and sometimes, I mean, yeah, sometimes it's in the moment, I'll kind of visualize certain things, but I think it's, yeah, definitely after the fact, and I'll listen to the song and I'm like, okay, this is what I want to see, this is what I want to see in this music video. Yeah.
I'm looking at your Instagram, and it's very visual.
Thank
And
you.
there is this amazing little character who continuously pops up.
Is it the little illustration?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who is that? Tell me about that. What is the deal there? Because it's kind of slightly scary and adorable at the same time.
Yeah, I think, like, I guess it's, or if I had to, I guess I've never been asked that, but if I had to, describe it, I guess it would, or, give it a name or whatever, maybe it's me and my scatterbrain, man. I mean, like, and just like brain fuzz.
Y'all
I
have
don't
to
know.
go to his Instagram and see what I'm talking about right now. Like it is, yeah. I mean, that makes sense. It's like comforting, and it's also there's like a thing to it. As this, oh, it's very interesting that you say that. And on all the songs, like, oh, there
Yeah.
he is.
Yeah.
There he is. There he is
It's the
again.
logo, It's the-
But it is. So
yeah.
visually, that's what you see.
Yeah.
I'm so supremely jealous of you. Not only are you musical, but you also can draw. And it's like the double creative, like 1-2 punch, because I mean, obviously it's an aesthetic and it's a creative outlet, but I think it's just so fantastic.
Thank you. I actually, before I found music, when I was younger, I wanted to be an animator. And then
That
I
makes
figured
sense.
out that I didn't have the patience for it. Because it's like
A lot of work.
It's a lot of work, man. I just like, I like doing my little doodles, and yeah, I can't even color
I wouldn't call
anymore.
these doodles. I think
Yeah.
these are pretty spectacular. I think you have a lot of talent to share, and we're so
Thank
happy
you.
that you're sharing it with us tonight here in the Jam Happy Hour again to benefit Sweet Relief Musicians Fund. So if you guys want to jump over to the Instagram page and kind of see what we're talking about, it's really very unique and special. But come back and then comment, drop an emoji, let us know what you think when you see. He needs a name.
Levi Evans. That's
All right, we can be
it's just
Levi.
it's the Levi.
could be
Actually, no.
little
Oh wait, no,
Levi.
that's a cop out. That's a cop out. I'll get back to you on that. I'll get back
Okay.
to you on
All
that.
right. Or if you guys have suggestions on what this character's name should be, I'm going with Little Levi. But if you have your own, I would love to see it in the comments because it's pretty awesome. It's pretty spectacular. All right. So we have a little bit of time left for a couple more songs. I want to jump into travel. I want to jump into a couple more things with you, but I would love to hear another song. What would you like to play for us next?
Cool. This one is called Numbers. And quick little story about it. When I was kind of doing these more acoustic sets, and I just kind of, I had to make more music. So I kind of just wrote something really quickly, and I didn't even really like it at the time. But every time I performed it, people would be like, yo, like that song, like what's that song? And so eventually I was like, okay, I gotta like flesh this out. You know what I mean? I gotta like record
Wow.
it. And it kind of became one of my favorite songs, to
Interesting.
date. So anyway, that's some backstory about it. But yeah,
We love
it's
a
about the world we
backstory.
live in. It's about the world we're living in right now.
All right. I'm listening. Lyrics. Here we go.
Self-diagnosis, you've been overdosing. Couldn't just roll out, got stuck in an ocean. But it preys on you from outside, switching back and forth with nothing to find. Confirmation should come from the inside. We're lacking in that. Won't you be kind? Can't run and hide. It's always on you now. Nothing applies, but you just glued your eyes on what told you. It's all about numbers. Staying connected is all you requested. Mad at the present, always second guessing. But it preys on you from all sides, listening to what you say at all times. Dominates the minutes, how they go by. We're lacking in them. Won't you be kind? You can't run and hide. It's always on you now, nothing applies, but you just glued your eyes on what's told you. Won't you be kind? Can't run and hide. It's always on you now, nothing applies, but you just glued your eyes on what's told you. It's all about numbers. It ain't all about numbers. It ain't all about numbers.
That's a really great statement as far as with social media and with tech and how everything's about followers and clicks and likes and shares and content. Remember when life was life and it wasn't content?
I know, man. It's crazy.
But that's what we have music for, to make us feel a little less alone. I don't think it's going anywhere. I think it's going to continue to be that way. I think you have to self-regulate it.
Yeah, for sure.
Which I think that song kind of touches on a little bit. And again, the lyrics are fantastic. So I think when it comes to like these issues, like you're not afraid to write a song about social media or create a song about climate change, or are you seeing your music as a way to kind of like drive what you're passionate about?
Yeah, definitely. I think those two songs, like it's because it wasn't like a premeditated thing. It kind of just happened. And like, especially with the subject matter and, but yeah, I am passionate about these things, and I do think they are, issues that we have to address.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But yeah, it was kind of very natural kind of writing those songs. Again, it was like I kind of woke up. One was I woke up in the morning and just did that. And then that song, again, was right before I went to bed. Numbers, I just like grabbed a guitar and
really
just wrote it. Yeah.
That was a quick one.
Yeah, it was the first verse and the chorus was very, very fast. And then
very interesting.
And then I had to flesh out kind of the second verse, and yeah.
But you already had the story. You already had, your roadmap of where you wanted to go and what you wanted to say. And then, you get to kind of release it out into the world like that and kind of like share your thoughts, which is actually a really cool thing. And for everybody tuning in tonight, I hope you guys are enjoying the music. If so, please continue to comment along as we raise money for the Sweet Relief Musicians Fund. Oddly enough, we are using social media to do a very good thing. Yeah. So it can be, it can be double-sided as well. And that way we get to connect. Have you been to Napa in a while? I know you're in California, but do you ever come out this way?
No, I don't think I've ever been to Napa, actually. I might be wrong. Maybe when I was younger, but not in my adultish life,
Well, if you ever do come out this way, we have this amazing venue and this music space. We would love to host you to come out and play and enjoy as our hour is wrapping up ever so quickly. And again, it's the fastest hour. And I do want to talk a little bit about travel because I think it's important. Like you grew up being able to see a lot of different places in the world at a very young age. Do you think that kind of influenced how you see the world versus like maybe some of your friends that have been in LA their whole lives?
Yeah, I think so. I was very privileged to have that experience, from a young age, and it definitely shaped who I have become. But to me, it's like hard for me to be in those shoes of someone else and to make that comparison.
I'll tell you, the first time I went to Europe, I was your age. I was 23, and I had never been out of a handful of southern states in the U.S. And it was very shocking and jarring and mind blowing in the best way to me. Yeah. So I have to think being able to experience that at a very young age would have to be incredibly beneficial.
Yeah, totally. I moved around a lot, and it was it was very beneficial, and just be able to be exposed to different cultures and everything. It was harder for me to find my identity because of it.
Gotcha.
And it's, I had a hard time making friends wherever I moved. took me a while to acclimate, but yeah, I mean, I think it's really, really important that we experience other people's cultures, because then we can, have empathy for things, more empathy for people that are different and that you might not understand,
Right.
their values in certain places, but, to kind of take that into consideration and empathize.
I didn't move internationally. I moved a lot, as a child, in 4 high schools, 5 different states. Like I can kind of commiserate, not commiserate, but here's the one thing I'll take away from it is that you can put me in a room anywhere in the world with anybody and I can strike up a conversation, because I think we had to as
Yeah.
children, always being the new kid. And I think that is a superpower, actually.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah,
think it's coming through in your music.
Thank you. Yeah. Definitely took me a while to figure out the superpower, but we're getting there,
Well, I think it's beautiful, and it is definitely coming through for us. We have time for one more song this evening. What would you like to play for us last?
This last song is unreleased.
Oh, hey,
Yeah,
it's
so-
Christmas. All right.
There you go. Christmas came early. Before
Awesome.
Dude, Christmas is creeping up, man. It's like
You say
even before
unreleased to me,
Halloween.
I get all giddy. So
So this one's called Faith. I'm
Love
just tuning my guitar.
Please do.
Sorry about that.
While you're tuning your guitar, I'm going to remind everybody, here's your last chance to get your comments, your likes, your emojis, your happy faces. We're hearing like new music nobody's ever heard before. Like, go to town and comment along, because for everyone, we're going to donate $1 with Jam Sellers to the Sweet Relief Fund. So this is the time. If you want to throw up emojis and try to make Levi laugh, please do. We love to mess somebody up during a song.
Takes the pressure off. So
Takes the pressure off.
especially when I've never performed this in front of people. So
Oh, this is really nice. This
Yeah,
is
so the
unique and
pressure's
special.
on,
Thank you.
but yeah, so I'll get into it. But yeah, this song is called Faith. It's unreleased, and here we go.
Thank you so much.
We talk as if it's gracious, or what you put on me. A bed under a tree. We spoke of sweet nothing. Can't miss what's detrimental. You know it to be true. We're all a little mental. Just look at us two. I found my faith in a garden far away, where the pill's so hard to take, both equally true. I found my faith, though it seems so night and day. Still it feels I just might break. It's the only thing that's keeping me from you. From you. From you. From you. Eyes wide shut, it's somewhere to be. You know it ain't cheap. Just take it from me. I said, oh, I've been there out on the sea. No one to be. Just take it from me. I found my faith in a garden far away, where the pill's so hard to take, both equally true. I found my faith, though it seems so night and day. Still it feels I just might break. It's the only thing that's keeping me from you. From you. From you. From you. From you. From you. from you.
We love unreleased music.
Yeah.
That was fantastic. Thank you for sharing that with
Thank you.
us. That's kind of like, was that a deep breath moment? Like, okay, here we go.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, it's beautiful
Yeah.
song. It's like I know you've been quoted as saying, you know, a mirror and a window. Music can be a mirror and a window. And, you know, I think everybody's like, when you hear a song like that, which obviously has a big emotional undertone to it, you're just like, oh my God, I'm projecting my own story into it. But then you're trying to figure out your story as well. And it was just a beautiful song. Thank you so much for sharing it with us tonight.
Thank you. Yeah.
I hope you've enjoyed the hour. I know we've enjoyed your musical skills and your voice and the lyrics and the stories and your time. And thank you so much for being a part of the Gem Happy Hour to benefit Sweet Relief this evening.
It was a pleasure, an absolute pleasure.
Well, please, if you're ever in Napa, come hang. And we would love to have you back again in the future. In the meantime, cheers to you. Cheers to your music. Cheers to 23 on both levels. It's going to be a beautiful year.
Thank you so much for having me. It was amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Have a beautiful night. Good night.